Look around you right now. Notice the chaos of your life. The endless notifications. The demands pulling you in every direction. The worries that keep you up at night. I see you struggling to stay afloat in this ocean of noise. We've all been there. But what if I told you that none of this chaos has to affect your inner state? What if I told you that you could become so mentally powerful that nothing, absolutely nothing, could shake your foundation? Stop for a moment. Take a deep breath with me. Feel that? That tiny moment of stillness? That's just a glimpse of what awaits you. The world's greatest minds discovered a secret that few ever master. They found that true power doesn't come from controlling others or even circumstances. It comes from mastering your own mind. While everyone else is fighting the external world, you're about to learn how to transform your internal one. Today, we're diving into the first lesson that will change everything: building an unshakable mind. This isn't some mystical concept. It's a practical skill that will make you mentally unrecognizable to those who knew you before. Are you ready to begin? Because once you understand this, nothing will ever be the same. The path to an unshakable mind starts with something simple yet profound: a calm state of awareness. Think of your mind as a clear lake. When it's disturbed, everything reflected in it becomes distorted. But when the water is still, you see things as they truly are. This calm isn't something you need to create. It's already there beneath the ripples of your thoughts and emotions. You just need to uncover it. Many people spend their whole lives chasing after external things, believing that's where peace and happiness come from. But those who've walked the path of wisdom know differently. They've discovered that real peace comes from within, and nothing outside can give it to you or take it away. The practice of seated meditation helps us discover this truth for ourselves. You don't need fancy cushions or special rooms, just a quiet spot where you can sit comfortably with your back straight. Focus on your breath moving in and out. When thoughts come, and they will, simply notice them without getting caught up in their stories, and gently bring your attention back to your breath. Do this for even 10 minutes a day, and you'll begin to notice a difference in how you respond to life's challenges. There's a special state of mind the wise ones call no mind. Don't let the name fool you. It doesn't mean becoming empty or blank. It means being fully present without getting tangled in judgments and reactions. Like when you're so absorbed in something you love that you forget yourself. Remember how time seems to disappear when you're deeply engaged in something. That's a taste of this state. Learning to observe without immediately reacting is like developing a superpower in today's fast-paced world. Most people are quick to judge, quick to speak, and quick to act, often regretting it later. But when you create a space between what happens and how you respond, you gain freedom. Someone might say something hurtful, and instead of firing back, you can pause, breathe, and choose your response wisely. Your breath is always with you, a faithful companion and anchor when your mind gets stormy. When you feel overwhelmed, simply bringing your attention to your breath, feeling it move in and out of your body, can bring you back to the present moment. 3 conscious breaths can change your entire mental state. The ancient teachings tell us that our emotions aren't our enemies, but they don't need to control us either. Even strong feelings like anger, fear, or sadness are just passing clouds in the sky of your awareness. By acknowledging them without identifying with them, you learn to say, "I notice anger arising," rather than "I am angry." This small shift in perspective creates a world of difference. One of the most powerful realizations on this path is understanding that your happiness doesn't depend on circumstances being a certain way. What brings true freedom is learning to be at peace regardless of whether things go your way or not. This doesn't mean giving up on improving your life. It means your well-being isn't hostage to conditions beyond your control. To build this unshakable foundation in daily life, start with small practices. When you wake up, take a few mindful breaths before reaching for your phone. When eating, actually taste your food. When walking, feel your feet touching the ground. When listening to someone, give them your full attention. These aren't complicated techniques, but they gradually transform how your mind works. Remember, developing an unshakable mind isn't about becoming perfect or never feeling negative emotions. It's about creating a deep inner stability that allows you to experience all of life, both pleasant and unpleasant, with awareness and balance. This foundation makes everything else possible on the path of transformation. Now that you've begun to build your unshakable mind, it's time to explore something that might sound strange at first: the power of emptiness. But don't let the word fool you. This emptiness isn't about being hollow or lacking something. It's actually about fullness, the unlimited potential that exists when you step beyond the narrow confines of your ego. Think of your ego as a small room with thick walls. It feels safe in there, but it's also limiting. Everything you experience gets filtered through labels like, "I like this," or "I don't like that," or "This is who I am," or "This is what I believe." These labels might seem helpful, but they're actually prison bars in disguise. The truth is, you are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not your past mistakes or future worries. You are not even your successes or the roles you play in life. All of these things are just clouds passing through the vast sky of your awareness. When you realize this, really realize it, not just understand it intellectually, something incredible happens. You become free. This freedom comes when you see that everything is constantly changing. Your body, your thoughts, your feelings, your relationships, your possessions, nothing stays the same. Most people fight against this truth. They cling desperately to things, trying to make permanent what can never be permanent. And this clinging causes suffering. But what if, instead of fighting against change, you embraced it? What if you saw that change itself is the only constant? And within that understanding is tremendous power. When you stop identifying so strongly with your temporary self, your likes and dislikes, your opinions and judgments, you discover something much more vast and peaceful underneath. There's a practice that helps with this. When you find yourself caught up in thoughts about yourself, whether they're good thoughts or bad ones, simply ask, "Who am I really?" Don't try to answer with words. Just let the question open up a space inside you. Who is this I that's having all these experiences? Is it really what you think it is? The masters of old would give their students puzzling questions or statements to ponder. These weren't meant to be solved by logical thinking. They were designed to short-circuit the thinking mind and create a crack in the ego's walls. Questions like, "What was your face before your parents were born?" These questions make no sense to the logical mind, and that's exactly the point. They force you to look beyond concepts and ideas. When you begin to experience moments of freedom from your ego's constant chatter, you'll notice that the world looks different. Colors seem brighter. Sounds are clearer. There's a spaciousness to everything. This happens because you're no longer filtering everything through your preferences and judgments. You're seeing reality more directly. The silence that exists when you're not constantly talking to yourself about everything is incredibly powerful. In this silence, wisdom naturally arises. Solutions to problems appear without effort. Creativity flows. This isn't magic. It's just what happens when the noise of ego subsides and your natural intelligence can function without interference. You can practice stepping beyond your ego in daily life. When you feel yourself getting defensive about an opinion, pause and ask yourself why you're so attached to it. When you feel yourself wanting to tell a story that makes you look good, notice that desire without acting on it. When you find yourself judging someone harshly, see if you can drop the judgment and simply be present with them as they are. These practices might seem small, but their effects are profound. Each time you choose awareness over automatic ego reactions, you strengthen your ability to access the power of emptiness, the unlimited potential that exists beyond the small self. And as this power grows, you'll find yourself becoming someone that others can't quite figure out. You'll respond to life's challenges with a freedom and creativity that seems to come from nowhere. But you'll know where it comes from, the boundless space beyond your ego. Having discovered the power of an unshakable mind and learned to move beyond the limitations of the ego, we now turn to a beautiful teaching, the mind as mirror. Imagine a perfect mirror. It doesn't add anything to what it reflects. It doesn't take anything away. It simply shows what is, exactly as it is. This is how your mind can be when it's clear and undistorted. Most people don't see the world as it actually is. They see their ideas about the world, their hopes, their fears, their judgments, and their past experiences projected onto everything. It's like looking at life through a dirty window instead of a clean one. They don't even realize how much they're missing or how much they're adding that isn't really there. The practice of mindfulness helps clean this mirror. By paying close attention to your present experience without immediately labeling it as good or bad, you begin to notice how your mind works. You see how quickly you form opinions about everything. I like this. I don't like that. This reminds me of something from my past. This person is just like so-and-so. These quick judgments happen so fast you normally don't even notice them, but they color everything you experience. What would happen if you could put aside these automatic opinions and preconceptions, even for a moment? You'd see with fresh eyes, like a child seeing something for the first time. Colors would be brighter. Sounds would be clearer. People would appear as they truly are, not as your mind labels them. This clear seeing is the beginning of wisdom. True wisdom goes beyond just collecting information. In today's world, information is everywhere. You can look up almost any fact within seconds. But wisdom is different. Wisdom comes from direct experience, from seeing clearly without the distortions of personal bias. It's not something you can download or memorize. It arises naturally when your mind mirror is clean. There's a deep kind of knowing that doesn't come from thinking. You've experienced this before, though you might not have recognized it. Have you ever just known something was right without being able to explain why? Or felt the perfect solution to a problem pop into your mind when you weren't even thinking about it? This intuitive wisdom is always available when your mind is clear and open. In the highest states of clarity, you see reality exactly as it is, without the filters of concepts and ideas. This doesn't mean concepts and ideas are bad. They're useful tools, but they're maps, not the territory itself. When you mistake the map for the territory, you miss the richness of direct experience. You miss life as it actually is. One powerful way to develop this clarity is by asking penetrating questions rather than settling for easy answers. Questions like, what is actually happening right now, beyond my ideas about it? Or, who is having this experience? Or, what would I see if I had no preconceptions about this situation? These questions help you drop beneath the surface level of thoughts and touch reality more directly. You can practice this clear seeing in everyday situations. When you meet someone, can you see them freshly, without immediately categorizing them based on their appearance or your past experiences with similar people? When you eat a meal, can you taste it directly, without automatically comparing it to other meals? When you listen to music, can you hear it as if for the first time? These simple practices gradually develop your capacity for clear perception. The clearer your perception becomes, the more you see beyond appearances. You notice connections and patterns that were always there, but hidden from your awareness. You perceive the underlying nature of things rather than just their surface. This doesn't require special powers, just the patient practice of cleaning your mind mirror and learning to really look. With this clarity comes a natural compassion. When you see clearly how things are connected, how everyone struggles in their own way, and how confusion leads to suffering, your heart naturally opens. This isn't a forced kindness based on rules or obligations. It's the natural response of a clear mind that sees the true nature of reality. With a stable mind, freedom from ego, and clear perception, you're now ready for the fourth teaching: how to express your inner power through action in the world. After all, what good is inner development if it doesn't change how you live? True wisdom shows itself in how you move through the world, how you treat others, and how you respond to challenges. There's a beautiful ideal in this tradition: the person who dedicates their life to helping others find freedom from suffering. This isn't about sacrificing yourself or becoming a martyr. It's about discovering that your own deepest fulfillment comes when you act from compassion rather than self-interest. The most powerful people aren't those who dominate others, but those who lift others up. Real power comes when your inner world and outer actions line up perfectly. When your thoughts, words, and actions all point in the same direction, there's no wasted energy. Most people say one thing, think another, and do something else entirely. This creates inner conflict and drains their power. But when you align all three, you become a force of nature. Living by a simple set of ethical principles creates a foundation for mental peace. When you don't harm others, when you speak truthfully, when you don't take what isn't freely given, when you act responsibly in relationships, and when you keep your mind clear, you avoid creating the kind of regrets and conflicts that disturb your peace. Your mind becomes your ally rather than your accuser. The way you do even the smallest things matters more than you might think. Washing dishes, driving to work, talking with a cashier. These everyday activities are opportunities to practice mindfulness. When you give your full attention to whatever you're doing, no matter how ordinary, you transform it. There's an old saying, when walking, just walk. When eating, just eat. This simple presence brings a quiet power to everything you do. Life will always present obstacles, that's guaranteed. But instead of seeing them as problems, you can view them as opportunities for growth. Every difficulty contains a lesson. Every setback hides a gift. The people who trigger you the most are often your greatest teachers. This perspective transforms challenges from things you suffer through into catalysts for your development. There's a special kind of action that seems paradoxical, effortless action. This doesn't mean being lazy or passive. It means acting from such deep alignment with reality that it feels like you're being carried by a current rather than swimming upstream. Like a skilled dancer who becomes one with the music, you respond to life's changing rhythms without resistance or force. Your actions become graceful, timely, and precisely what's needed. Certain qualities naturally strengthen your mind when you cultivate them. Patience helps you stay steady when facing delays or difficulties. Generosity frees you from the prison of always wanting more. Courage allows you to face fears rather than be controlled by them. These aren't just nice moral qualities. They're practical powers that make your mind more capable and resilient. The most surprising discovery is that serving others actually builds your inner strength. When you focus solely on your own needs and problems, your mind becomes small and contracted. But when you extend yourself to help others, something expands inside you. You tap into reservoirs of energy and creativity you didn't know you had. The times when you're most tired are often when you most need to reach out and help someone else. It revitalizes you in a way that rest alone cannot. This doesn't mean ignoring your own needs or becoming a doormat. True service comes from fullness, not depletion. It's about recognizing the deep connection between your well-being and the well-being of others. As you practice these teachings, you'll discover that the line between helping yourself and helping others begins to blur. In the deepest sense, they're the same thing. We've journeyed through the unshakable mind, moved beyond the ego, develop clear perception, and learn to act with virtue in the world. Now we arrive at the final teaching, the enlightened mind, the ultimate expression of mental power. This isn't some distant, impossible goal. It's the natural flowering of everything we've discussed so far. Throughout history, there have been moments when people suddenly break through their normal way of seeing. In an instant, they see through the illusion of separateness and recognize the true nature of mind and reality. These breakthroughs aren't mystical or supernatural. They're simply what happens when all the barriers we've been discussing fall away at once. Like waking up from a dream you didn't know you were having. Everything suddenly appears in a completely new light. The journey to this awakened state follows a path with recognizable stages. First comes the recognition that there's more to life than just fulfilling desires and avoiding discomfort. Then comes a commitment to understanding the true nature of mind and reality. After that, you begin to directly experience moments of clarity and insight that transform your understanding. Gradually, these insights deepen until they permanently change how you experience yourself and the world. What stands in the way of this realization? There are 5 main obstacles. Mindless habits that keep you running on autopilot. Resistance to what is. Drowsiness or dullness that prevents clear seeing. Restlessness that keeps you constantly distracted. And doubt that makes you question your own deepest insights. Recognizing these obstacles is the first step to moving beyond them. The most profound insight on this path is that you already possess the very thing you're seeking. You don't need to add anything to yourself to be complete. Your most essential nature, your basic awareness, is already perfect and complete. The work isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about recognizing what you've always been beneath the layers of conditioning and false identity. When you've had glimpses of this truth, you begin to see that all experiences are equally valid expressions of the same underlying reality. The line between ordinary and extraordinary disappears. Sacred and profane become meaningless distinctions. Everything becomes a perfect expression of what is, even the difficult and painful parts of life. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. Instead, you engage with life more fully, but without the distortions of craving and aversion. The enlightened mind experiences a kind of joy that doesn't depend on pleasant circumstances. Even in difficult situations, there's an underlying peace that remains unshaken. This isn't forced positivity or emotional suppression. It's a natural result of seeing clearly into the nature of reality and your own mind. When you're no longer fighting against what is, an unexpected happiness emerges that doesn't need things to be any particular way. This realization completely transforms how you experience suffering. The pain that comes from resisting reality, from wanting things to be different than they are, gradually dissolves. Physical pain may still arise, but the mental suffering that normally accompanies it falls away. You see that suffering comes not from pain itself, but from how you relate to it, through resistance, identification, and storytelling about what it means. How does all this look in daily life? It looks remarkably ordinary. You still eat when hungry, rest when tired, and respond appropriately to whatever life presents. The difference is internal. You no longer feel separate from life itself. Your actions flow naturally from wisdom and compassion rather than fear and desire. You no longer need to constantly protect and promote a fragile sense of self. There's a profound ease and naturalness to everything you do. There's a profound ease in you. The enlightened mind doesn't announce itself with dramatic displays or supernatural powers. It shows itself in simple ways, in the ability to be fully present with whatever arises, in actions that naturally benefit others without ulterior motives, in a profound equanimity that isn't disturbed by life's inevitable ups and downs, in a humor that doesn't depend on putting others down, in a kindness that requires no effort, in a wisdom that sees both the absolute and relative nature of everything. You've now discovered the 5 powerful teachings that can transform your mind in ways others won't even recognize. From building an unshakable foundation to experiencing the ultimate freedom of the enlightened mind, these ancient wisdoms aren't just philosophical ideas. They're practical tools for living with greater peace, clarity, and power in today's chaotic world. But knowing these teachings is just the beginning. Real transformation happens when you put them into practice in your daily life. Each small step you take on this path changes something within you. And as you change, the world around you begins to change too. If these teachings have sparked something in you, if you felt even a moment of recognition or possibility while listening, then you're already on the path. And I'd be honored to continue this journey together. Subscribe to our channel now to receive new wisdom teachings each week. Each video builds on the last, creating a complete path of mental transformation that you can follow step by step. And if you know someone who's struggling with mental noise, someone searching for deeper meaning, or someone who wants to develop genuine inner strength, share this video with them. You might be giving them exactly what they've been looking for. Remember, true power isn't about controlling others or even controlling your environment. It's about mastering your own mind. And that journey begins with a single decision, the decision to wake up. Click subscribe now, and let's walk this path together.